Hello, my friends. This is my card art. I have met a few of you at the recent show that I had done, and you had asked me how to use watercolored and watercolored bases for regular cardstock. So basically, this is the video that I had created for all of you who had questions. It's regular paper that I'm using. It's cardstock paper, not copy paper. You know us crafters, we don't use copy paper. And I'm using gouache from Courtney Paints. This is what you're seeing here. This is absolutely wonderful. Her quality is sensational for your art that you can create with her creations. And it's watercolor. Basically, it's water-based. So this means anything that you have that is water-based, you can use it. You can mix different colors. A lot of times people don't know you can mix different products. The liquid that you had just seen in the white container, that is a different product. That's Distress Mica Stain. So I'm combining gouache, the Distress Mica Stain, and then I will be also combining the colored pencils. That's the Distress Stain right there. The trick for using watercolor on your regular cardstock is using extremely small amounts of water and layering, because you're not trying to make the water soak through your paper, because the fibers will be coming through and your paper will be a hot mess and crumbling. But you're just layering the different colors. And yes, go ahead and mix and match. You can. I like using these products because they have a beautiful shine. They have a tiny little powders of glisten and gloss and mica powder, and it's just so beautiful. Look. Look how thin my brush is, and I'm barely using any water, just enough to layer. And I go up and down different areas because you don't want to go ahead and keep on layering on the same surface area. You just want to layer a little bit at a time and then go back and layer some more. See, I'm totally combining different things. So those of you that had asked me how to do this, I hope this helps. I did not want to bore you with coloring every little detail here on camera and show you. But I'm just giving you a concept idea what you can do. This stamp was really nice. I really enjoyed, painting over this. And as you can see, I'm layering. And if for some reason you are layering your paints, your mica powders or gold or whatever colors that you have, and you lose some of the detail on the small areas. So for example, as you could see, her hair had more black lines in there. And as I'm painting, some of them is washed away. Well, that's okay. You can actually re-add them either with a paint, just like I do here, or with the colored pencils. As you will see, I'm going to do it towards the end. With the flowers, it's the same thing. I'm just combining the different paint colors and adding as I wish. So you can add whatever colors you have. This particular set, again, is from Courtney Paints. And her gouache is full of shimmer and shine. It smells really good too. I met her on Instagram and I became friends with her, and I had used her products before a couple of times and bought several items from her. It genuinely lasts a long time. This is the mica distressed stain. Excuse me. Yes, it's the Distress Mica Stain that I'm using. And those are the different colors that you had seen in my little wells in the white container. And those are also water-based. So this is why you can combine them. Courtney Paints, the gouache, is also water-based. So anything that you have, if you have markers, you can actually take your markers and dilute them as well. Add a little water onto a dish or any non-porous surface and use your markers and use those for watercoloring. I'm sure you have seen that technique. If you want to have me demonstrate that, let me know. I'll make a video on that as well. See right here, I'm again using the colors and just going over all the little details on the stamp. Some I leave out, some I don't, but look at the shine. This is why I wanted to show you this as far as this particular paint, how beautiful it turns out. And see here, I'm not coloring every little black area on the flowers and on the plants. I'm leaving some of it dark, leaving the black areas there because it also creates a certain depth. So this is another easy way of making your project look like it has more depth, and it's just a nice way of not having to go back and add the black in later. So you're basically painting over it and leave a small amount open. See right there? That's exactly what I'm doing. I wanted to demonstrate some of these little hints because quite a few of you had had asked me and said, how do I do the depth? Why do I have to add the black behind the paint colors? Or how do I use the black color and make my paint come out a little bit, deeper in sight or in texture? How do I make it look 3D? Well, I'm not a 3D artist for sure, but I do know that if you add the shadows in, it's a lot easier for your project to pop when you are doing anything. So here I'm just using the black stamp image to help me, with my project here. See, and I actually drew the line. It wasn't intended to be that strong, but I wanted it to kind of pop because I really like that color. I just think it just is such an easy way of painting. Now, this project took me probably at 40 minutes to paint from start to finish. And part of that was just trying to figure out which colors I'm going to use. I didn't have a pre-planned way of doing it. I normally don't because I relax. When I do any art or paint, I like to relax. The world is hectic, we get busy, and it's really nice just to really not think about what you're doing too much, but genuinely taking it one step at a time. And if I happen to use the wrong color and I make a mess of it, well, it's okay, I can paint over it. Or the very worst, I just throw away the project and start over. There's nothing wrong with that. Trust me, you don't ever have to panic. Sometimes people go, oh, this is not perfect. It didn't turn out how somebody demonstrated it. It's okay. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be your style, your method, your painting. It's not supposed to be a copy of somebody else's work. Now, if you want to, you can, sure. But if it doesn't turn out the same, don't stress on it. See here, I added blue to the flower because I wanted to create a depth. And honestly, I didn't like it the way this was. So I ended up correcting it as you will see later. It turned out to be too dark, the contrast, and it didn't give the depth that I was looking for. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm going, oh, this is ugly. So I was fixing it at the very end. You'll see I actually liked how it turned out because I wanted to create the lines in between, wanted to create the depth and the gold. And I have seen a lot of flowers that have different blue in them, although the flower is not blue. And that's what I was going for. But for some reason, it wasn't working right here, as you could see. It still wasn't doing it for me. So I took my colored pencils towards the end and I ended up fixing it to create a little bit more depth because it just did not look real to me. Now here I'm coloring in her dress and I took kind of like a contrasting color, but still something that would look good. I was thinking, should I do a yellow dress or something? And I'm like, no, because we have the lantern that's yellow. I chose purple because I do have some purple flowers in here. And as you can tell, again, I barely have any water on my paper. And my dilemma here was how I'm going to get her skin color to have a very light tone and not blend in with her hair color, and how I'm going to combine that. So you will see I actually chose colored pencils for that particular project because to me that was easier. I didn't have enough paint with me here to start blending and mixing a skin tone, a light skin tone color. And so I didn't want to mess it up and I didn't want to have her have, purple skin. So I didn't think that was going to be good. But for the dress, it was fine. And see, again, my paper is barely wet, so keep that in mind when you are using cardstock. Don't oversaturate your paper. If it will curl up, it's okay. You can uncurl it. I'm demonstrating the pencil that I'm using for her skin tone right there. And I'm barely adding any color, just a little bit. And by the way, you're probably wondering, what does she mean if my paper curls up? It's okay, you can fix it. And you can uncurl it. It's really simple, actually. When your project dries, just put something heavy on it afterwards. You can put it in between book, pages. We used to do that as kids, just put a couple of books on top. You can also wet the back of the paper just a little bit, just a hint where it's curling, and then turn your paper over, and then it will flatten out. It's a very common way of flattening out paper. And again, if you don't know how to do that, I can make a video and I can show you how to do that. But honestly, it's super simple. Just put it in between two heavy objects and obviously straight objects. The other thing you can do is you can emboss your project after you're done with your embossing machine. And now you create a natural ripple on it, whatever way you want to do it. I didn't feel like doing that, so I just wanted to keep it straight, and I'll show you what I did with this at the end. These are the colored pencils that I was using, and I'm creating just a little bit of a slight effect to have a rosy cheek. But again, the way it's turning out, I didn't like it. It almost looks like somebody slapped her. And she just had an overwhelming pink face. So I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, this doesn't look good. Let me try something else. So my old trick that I had learned way back when I was a little girl is use your eraser for blending. And therefore, when I blended this, it just worked like magic. As you could see, it turned out a lot better. So the pencils that I used were the color tan, and I had used a very light pink color for the cheeks. And then later on, you will see that I'm using black to add some of the depth back into her hair, this one right here. And this was just my choice. They're regular crayons. They're excuse me, Crayola pencils, not crayons, forgive me. They are Crayola pencils. This is nothing expensive. You know, you can use simple colored pencils. You don't have to worry about buying something expensive. Now, the way her arm turned out, because my stamp smudged a little bit after I had watered it, it looked like she had something going on with her skin over there with the edges. So I decided to take my black pencil and outline her arm, and then of course I'm still adding some shadows in her hair to create some extra depth. You could see how gorgeous these paints have mixed, and this is genuinely like a 3D effect with all the shine and the glistening and the gold shimmers, the bronze shimmers. It looks so pretty in real life. See what I'm doing? Again, I'm just going over a little bit, and right here you're not really seeing it because it's such a shine. You're almost, you know, it looks like I'm not doing anything. But wait, I will turn the paper in a second. You will see all the depth that I created, because literally right here you could barely even see that it's doing anything, but it really is. And this is the beauty of watercolor and mixing colored pencils. A lot of people don't do that, as far as I know, or maybe it's just not being shown on the internet as much. I haven't seen it, but you can actually add both the gouache with the watercolors, or add the pencils, yeah, with regular watercolor based paint or gouache. You can mix those. You can mix either of the two or all three of them together. See my flower in the back? It still doesn't look right. It just looks like some alien flower to me. It doesn't look real. But as I'm adding the black tones into her hair, and I will turn the paper in just a second, so hang in there. I just really wanted you to see that, you know, the method that I'm doing for her hair and for the edges, and also a little bit of shadow around her chin, and how I'm creating a little bit of a depth and that softness. I wanted to have her have that very soft tone. And again, I'm erasing it just enough to blend. And no, I didn't use any blender brushes or anything complicated, just cheap, inexpensive eraser. I use this for my school, so it's my pencil that I use for writing. And now here I am trying to fix that hideous flower that I made. Yeah, sometimes, you know, I don't like what I make. And in this case, I did want to show you how it turned out and how I fixed it. And I ended up liking it. So it was okay. It worked. So what I'm actually doing here is, again, adding back some depth with the pencil. And still, you're not able to really see the color, but don't worry. Again, it's a work in progress. And as soon as I will turn this light and the paperwork, I will be able to show you how you know, big of a difference it made. And with that little shadowing, it really looks a lot more in depth. And this is the same thing you can do. And again, I didn't want to video this, you know, with super fast speed so you get to see it. See, look, see the depth? Look at that. I was like, oh, I like that now. Okay, that'll work. But the shine on this is absolutely amazing. And there's no trick photography here. I did not put artificial intelligence to alter this in any way. This is the actual work that I had done, and this is how it turned out. And I went back again and just did a little bit more blending for her arm, you know, the edges. And again, I just wanted to clean that up a little bit, just to make it look a little bit more straight. And then I decided I was going to initially make a card out of this, either a Christmas card or a birthday card. I said, no, I'm going to put it in a frame. And this is the frame that I chose. That's the frame. Hey guys, thanks a million.